Number 10, the bulldog rat. Right off the bat, I want to throw up. Of course, being way larger than black rats, the bulldog rat was thankfully, last seen around 1903. We did it. We just successfully dodged these ones. The same time speed walking was introduced to the world. Coincidence? Absolutely not. Everyone was avoiding these big hairy That's my theory. They have 2 to 3 centimeters of fat on their backs, with short tails and thick hair. There's absolutely nothing holly and or jolly about the bulldog rat, except for the fact that its home was that of Christmas Island in the Indian Ocean. Yeah, welcome to Christmas Island. It's not what you think. At all. They were thriving until sailors discovered the island. And with them, they brought infected black rats. So only sailors were responsible for this extinction event. Yeah, they pulled up to Christmas Island and then they released some gifts. Gifts of rats, infected rats, that now made other rats extinct. Either way, I don't like rats. Any rats, extinct or currently living. Next, number 9, Helicoprion. Perhaps one of the weirdest looking sea creatures to exist 250 million years ago. Again, yes, we dodged it. Thank God. We got a little close, but we narrowly missed it. This looks like a shark, but scientists now know that it was related to chimeras, a fish that separated from the shark family 400 million years ago. Again, dodge those too. This 25-foot long fish was first discovered by Andrei Zarpinski in Russia back in 1889. He got the name Helicoprion because it translates to spiral saw, hence its horribly disgusting awesome mouth. This guy found teeth fossilized in a spiral formation. He must have thought that he found aliens. He must have been scratching his head for weeks. Paleontologists all agree today that this was not part of a fin. It wasn't a wacky spinal cord either, but rather this coil was teeth. Yeah, teeth coiled up attached to the lower jaw of the fish, and its grasp was the same power roughly to that of a crocodile. So you can put 2 and 2 together and now not sleep. Just like me. Number 8, dire wolves. In height of that new Game of Thrones show coming out, can't wait, here we go. Let's talk about some Westeros animals, because these ones were real. Dire wolves. About 10,000 years ago, dire wolves were still a thing. We could have owned these as pets. Would have been so scary, but I would have liked it. Canis dirus comes in at around the same size as a gray wolf, so it's not a mega wolf with 3 heads or anything insane, but it did weigh a lot more, because it was eating a lot more, yeah. Their jaws were much stronger, so crushing animal bones wasn't a problem. And they would actually hunt down and eat horses. Yeah, how terrifying is that? If I saw that, I would cry so much. After studying their teeth, that was their go-to snack, turns out. Nice. Currently, if you're in the market for seeing 400 dire wolf skulls, head to the Page Museum in Southern California. Yeah, they found hundreds of thousands of skulls in the tar pits. Imagine that. Oh, what is this? Thousands of skulls. Damn, thought it was treasure.
Number 7, the frilled shark. Chlamydoslacus ingenius, aka the frilled shark, is the extinct species of shark that once swam our oceans. Thank gosh. Well, actually kinda still does. Oh. The frilled shark is considered a living fossil, not just its age and time spent surfing the coast, due to its primitive eel-like brown body. Its snake-like jaws, 8-foot body, and the way it moves under the water are all common in ancient serpents and water creatures. Yeah, this thing's a water dragon, basically. This thing's like an eel serpent shark hybrid. It swims the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, usually in deep murky water. So am I just gonna like snorkel into one of these things any day now? Good thing is that these things are really hard to find. Like, really hard. Usually caught by accident in commercial fishing nets, usually at depths anywhere between 50 and 1,000 meters. So unless you're free diving at night and have a supersonic lung span, you should be okay.
Number 6, the gastric brooding frog. I'm a big fan of frogs, except for when they, hatch out of their back. I don't like that. It's arguably the worst thing I've ever seen online, and I have read it, and have had read it for years. These frogs would swallow its egg back in the day, and then they would hatch them out of their mouth. If you watched it backwards, you'd be like, no, stop. They all went extinct back in 1983, but scientists have somehow figured out how to implant dead cells into a fresh egg from an entirely different frog species. So we may just see this fancy frog make a fancy comeback. Yeah, let's just hope these ones aren't born out of their backs. Do you want to see it? I feel like you want to see it. There it is. Enjoy. You asked for it. Thumbs up for this. It's life, it's nature.
Number 5, the giant sloth. Megatherium is an extinct species of ground sloth. Locals to South America, they lived between the Pliocene through the Pleistocene eras. Basically like a really long time. Yeah, this thing was big and heavy as a modern day elephant, but like sloth form. This massive beast was first discovered in 1788 on the banks of Argentina. The bones, of course, not 1. Megatherium became extinct around 12,000 years ago, thank gosh, during the Quaternary extinction event, which also claimed most other large mammals in the New World. The extinction coincides with early America's settlement and the kill sites where sloths were slaughtered. I tried. Suggesting that humans were out fist-fighting these things, aiding in such extinction. Yeah, all of a sudden mammoths are like way less scary. I wonder if they moved as slow too. Like a bear the size of an elephant moving in slow motion. So I just like throw it. It's like right here. Just be like, there.
Number 4, Tasmanian tiger. Once native to Australia, of course the land of horrors, the Tasmanian tiger, also known as the thylacine, was a massive carnivorous marsupial that went extinct around the 1930s. Thank the Lord. Major factors here are, as you guessed, climate change, hunting, and its genetic diversity wasn't all too great. Now it's sad on one hand because these beautiful creatures, also kind of terrifying, they disappeared so recently, but it's recent enough that we have a shot at bringing them back. Yeah, I'm just scaring you with this one. I'm like, it's terrifying, right? They're coming back 2024 in IMAX. Yeah, imagine looking outside and seeing this thing on your own front yard. Are we ready for this? I'm not. I've seen a moose once. Very scary, very scary. I was going 40 miles an hour. I was like, that's it. Specimens still remain preserved in jars. Yeah, thank God for those jars. I was wondering what that was in the fridge. A Tasmanian tibia. Nice, yum. In the science world, we already have some of the Tasmanian tiger genes present after scientists inserted them into a mouse fetus. Again, bold, but sure, they did it. One guy thought of that. How gross is that? The Australian Museum has been working hard to bring this beast back to life, only they're still lacking the DNA to fully recreate it. So if you have any jars of Tasmanian tiger parts, lend a helping hand for science, please. Number 3, Thylacosmolus. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell. I love it. Marsupials millions of years ago, they were a little bit weirder than our marsupials today, although they're still odd. They have the weird, scary face. Thylacosmolus, first of all, way better name than opossum. We should have kept that name, if anything. These guys back then looked like saber-toothed tigers, but it's really just a cousin to marsupials today. Its name translates to terrible pouched knife, awesome nickname, and it used to live in what's now South America. Elmer Riggs discovered the remains of such a beast in the 1920s, but only recently we have now figured out it wasn't related to a cat. Although, looking at it, you're like, I don't know, it looks a little similar. Its teeth are intimidating, don't get me wrong, but this was just a big ass marsupial. And it's an apossum, or an opossum, or bee-possum, I don't know, I've lost count. Number 2, there is no Saurus. There is no Saurus, not anymore, thankfully. No, they've been dead for 75 million years, for sure gone. We love that, here we go. There is no Saurus anymore. That sounds weird to say. They were also known in history as the reaping lizard, and it was first discovered in 1948. And these guys could grow up to 10 meters long, and they weighed about 5 tons. So yeah, like the lizard from Spider-Man, you're pretty much f***ed if you run into these. But the feature that stands out the most on this long neck raptor looking dinosaur is its massive claws. This thing's got baseball mitts for hands. It's like Freddy Krueger. These hands are way too big for that body. It's like a sports fan just ready to catch a foul ball. This is where the Greeks got the name from. Therizo means to reap or to cut off. This was the Freddy Krueger of animals. And thankfully its choice of meals was always a salad. No, it didn't shred up any animals unless it had to in self-defense. So leave this guy alone. The first fossil was discovered in the late 1940s from a Soviet Mongolian fossil expedition, and they found the claws first, and for 10 years they had no idea what this belonged to. Just terrified people in a lab for 10 years straight. It wasn't until the early 50s until they found more bones, and then eventually all the pieces of the puzzle started to fit, and they realized it wasn't a turtle. Yeah, that was their first guess, just a big old turtle. Can you imagine that in the water? No fucking way. And finally, number 1, Megalodon. Yeah, speaking of water, and holy shit, yeah, this thing was very real. Louis Agassiz first discovered the Megalodon shark back in 1843. Wasn't alive though, but still scary. He was a Swiss-born American naturalist and geologist. He discovered some amazing details about glacier activity and extinct fish. He is brilliant in history. But one of those extinct fish just happened to be the tooth shark, aka the Megalodon. It lived everywhere in the world but Antarctica, really. This thing ruled our planet. It favored warm oceans, but similar to a great white, it generates heat when it moves, so it can survive most places. Yeah, not great for us, it's swimming in the water. The largest recorded Megalodon came in at 59 feet, about the same length as a bowling alley. So if this thing were alive today, there's no chance Jason Statham could take it. No, it's gonna take at least 3 Jason Stathams, at least. Its 7-foot wide jaws had plenty of trunk space for a swimmer, and its 5 rows of razor sharp teeth ensured said swimmer didn't get out. So I'm glad they're all dead. In a nice way, I don't know, this sounds kind of horrible to say. Number 10, the walking worm. Okay, this was my nickname back in high school. Nice, good to be back. This one sounds nice. Earthworm Jim, Gumby, I got them all. Just a walking, lanky worm dude. Meet the Hallucigenia fortis, named by Simon Conway Morris back in 1979. Conway Morris named it Hallucigenia fortis because of its bizarre and dreamlike quality. Sure, art's subjective, I guess, to each their own. There were over 109 specimens of these strange aquatic creatures, and they ranged in size from half a centimeter to 3 centimeters long. Now, number 10 on our list, okay, gotta start small, not too large, and since it was an invertebrate, it lacked a spine. Just like me, no spine, you know, just all worm. Just all air, like an inflatable person. Defining features of the walking worm, as its name suggests, were these tentacles that protruded out from the body. It had spikes that it maybe and possibly probably walked on. How terrifying is that? And in 2015, scientists realized where its head was. Yeah, its real head. We thought a fossilized stain was its head for like 35 years, and then in 2015, we found its real head, and it looks like it's grinning almost, with 2 eyes. Dare I say worse than the stain? Let's stop looking.
Number 9. The big fin squid. From the Magnapinidae family, the big fin squid, or as I like to call it, this ocean alien with shoulders and elbows, belongs to a group of rarely seen cephalopods with a distinctive morphology, meaning that they're really weird looking and really rare. The first record of us catching and looking at this thing comes from 1907 in the Azores, but due to the damaged nature of the find, little information could be actually extracted. It just looked like a piece of wet crinoline pulled out of a lake. During the 80s, 5 specimens were found in the Atlantic and Pacific, so eventually the creature found a place amongst the books as its own species, entering the Magnapinidae, or squids. So it's not actually a squid, but like a third cousin. This thing looks like it crashed here on an asteroid, doesn't it? The arms are huge and held perpendicular to the body, creating the illusion of arms and elbows, giving it its trademark alien figure. Some of these things are longer than 10 meters too. That's like a school bus. These things are definitely living under the ice on Jupiter. I'm just gonna say it. I said it.
Number 8. Giant dragonfly. Dragonflies are awesome. I have a dragonfly tattoo. I had to check which arm. That's awesome. Welcome to being 28, I guess. But these sticky lads are old school, okay? Dragonflies are sweet. They were the first winged insects to ever evolve 300 million years ago. Modern dragonflies have wingspans of only 2 to 5 inches, but ancient giant dragonflies, again, as their name suggests, well, their wingspan was 2 to 3 feet. They're a lot bigger and scarier and stickier. I hope they never come back to this size. Again, like I mentioned in part 1, it's that high oxygen level that does the body good. Yeah, the Paleozoic era had these beasts hovering around because, you know, the air was too good back then. Nearly all of their head is its eye, so you're f***ed in every angle, basically. The movie Dune, if you've seen this recently, great film. The ornithopters, they're engineered to fly like a dragonfly. This is based on real life science. Engineers in real life are studying dragonflies, their flight patterns right now with their wings. Just keep them small and we're good. Study away. Keep them small, please. Number 7, the devil frog. Catching frogs is a great way to pass the time as a kid or as an adult who's just, you know, doing his own thing at the cottage. But 68 million years ago, if you saw a frog, you would have to run away immediately. It was bad news, especially if it was the devil frog. The devil frog would leave you without a nose. Yeah, it was got a big chomp. Hear that? It was a lot louder than that. Probably like, I can see it spiking up, that's so stupid. It was a lot bigger than frogs today, as most of these things are. It was on average the same size as a beach ball, and they lived on the island of Madagascar. Sounds like fun, but it wasn't at all. They thrived there because no theropod dinosaurs could get there, you know what I mean? And its bite is similar to a wolf or tiger, so really nothing wanted to mess with it. It's like, yeah, have Madagascar, enjoy it. We're not gonna try and with you. Recently, however, researchers found a fossil of the devil frog, and they believe it once had spikes and a turtle-like shell. Yeah, as if the devil frog couldn't get any cooler and or scarier. Now we know they had spikes. Throw in spikes as well, like it's a Mario dinosaur. Right now, currently, we have the horned frog, which is a lot smaller, but even after this many million years of evolution, its jaw is also remarkably strong. It'll still take off your finger, you know, little guy. Much smaller, but still a bite. Number 6, Mega Piranha. Whew, talk about a bite. Here we go. Mega Piranha sounds like a Marvel Comics villain from the 70s. Is this real? Please tell me these weren't real. Growing up, I thought piranhas would be way more of an issue, to be honest. I haven't ran into any of those, and I'm not complaining. That sounds terrifying. Mega Piranhas, back in the day, for starters, they were much bigger than today's piranhas. They came in at about 1 meter long. They ruled the waters surrounding Argentina, so 6 million years ago, you know, you wouldn't be taking any late night skinny dips, that's for sure. Its bite force was 50 times its own weight, which is scary for a 30-pound fish. Yeah, all that math, it's a little jarring, isn't it? Its bite can outchomp Megalodon, who I may or may not mention in a little bit. Even today, the word piranha instills fear. Our modern day black piranha weighs 2 pounds, but its razor sharp teeth and its bite force is still so deadly. Also, they've made way too many piranha movies. They gotta stop. Piranha 3D, 4DX, Piranha moving chairs, Mist. I don't know. They're doing way too much movie theaters. They have a thing now, it's called smell-o-vision or something, where you watch a movie and you can smell the scene, which is odd. Imagine watching the human centipede and smell-o-vision. Number 5, Arthropleura. These creepy crawlies translate to jointed ribs. That's what their name means, jointed ribs. That's lovely. There we go. Arthropleura were these gigantic millipedes. Yeah, they would grow up to 6 feet long. Sorry, Jen, I forgot about these ones. These are kind of bugs. It was the largest known invertebrate ever. It ruled all over the arthropods, so any other spider, insect, crustacean, you name it, nothing compared to this horror. Nothing compares to you. 6-foot millipede, yuck. They roamed the land during the Paleozoic period. They would crawl around at much higher speeds than today's millipedes, which is still so fast, way too fast, and they ate any decomposing organic matter. So no, they wouldn't gobble you up if you went back in time. The reason all these monster bugs got so large, by the way, was because 300 million years ago, oxygen made up 30% of the air, whereas now we're only sucking in 21%. Yeah, we got that dirty hand-me-down air. But also, we have smaller bugs, so I'm not complaining too hard. Number 4, Epicyon. Much more than just a dog, these extinct canines were known as bone-crushing dogs. Awesome, let's not get these as pets, I guess. They would come in at around 5 feet long, greatly resembling a grizzly bear, and their massive head would come in handy during hunts, because it had the, head size of a lion, and its jaw certainly played the part as well. No problem hunting, very fast. Lions, tigers, and bears all rolled up into one furry 300-pound sack of holy shit. It was made to crush, literally. Its 4th premolar was enlarged, just like some hyenas, just like bears. This thing too lived in what's now North America. They went extinct about 6 million years ago, which is pretty recent considering the other scary fossils on this list. Could you imagine camping and all of a sudden this thing comes in? Sorry, runs in? Or sprints in? I don't know, I'm out of here.
Number 3. Dunkelostis, from Dunkel's bones, named after paleontologist David Dunkel, who discovered and studied the fossils. Ostis is Greek for bone, referring to the giant tectonic plates looking things that this thing is made up of. Being one of the largest and most powerful fish ever to swim in our waters, ever, these swimming tanks could eat pretty well anything it wanted, including other Dunkelostises. This thing was top dog. The first remains were discovered along Lake Erie cliffs. That's scary, that's like right over there. Dunkelostis could suck in and bite straight through any animal alive at the time, from the thick-shelled ammonites to the other placoderms with body armor. This thing was basically like the great-great-grandfather of any fish who eats other fish. They would even bite each other and dent their own armor. Their diet shifted from soft-bodied prey such as whales and sharks to larger armored prey such as placoderms. Basically, it liked to eat the little crunchy stuff instead of the soft-bodied megalodons. What a sentence.
Number 2, the moa. This New Zealand bird went extinct about 600 years ago. See, moa, they were these flightless birds, massive, might I add, and archaeologists first discovered its fossil in a cave, just hidden in the very back, right in the depths. Its flesh and everything was still attached. See, these ancient birds would reach about 5 feet tall, and when you think of dinosaurs, you probably think that's quite petite in comparison, but no, listen up. The birds stopped flying right after the dinosaurs went extinct. According to biologist Matthew Phillips from the Australian National University of Canberra, once the dinosaurs off, they now had freedom. They could go outside without having to make any daring escapes, right? They weren't terrified every day to be lunch. They walked around, they got fat, and they hung out in caves. So it might seem a little depressing to watch a creature lose the ability to fly, but it's because they're eating good, They're good problems, right? Scientists have recently discovered moa DNA from ancient eggshells, so there's a possibility we might see these fatties hit the skies once again. Let's keep them on Weight Watchers this time around, Let's keep them in the sky, keep them.
Number 1, Eurypterid. Long story short, an ancient huge sea scorpion. That's it. I'm done. No, I said no spiders, earwigs, and scorpions. No, that's it. An extinct group of arthropods that formed 470 million years ago, with 250 species of its own, the Euryptid is the most diverse Paleozoic class of its time. This is like the first of the creepy crawly stinger pincher things, They declined in numbers and diversity until becoming extinct during the Triassic extinction event about 250 million years ago. Yeah, thank God. I can't even put a crayfish on a hook without squirming. Called sea scorpions, of course, because of two qualities. Being able to go in and out of water, and having two sets of lungs. Yeah, this thing's a fossil, right? This thing just got way more terrifying. They are the largest known arthropods ever to have lived on Earth, ranging anywhere between a foot and 4 feet big. That's a longboard, Taylor. A skateboard with claws and pinchers and a tail, in and out of the water. Alright, the animal kingdom. How beautiful.